Hi, good morning, guys. Thank you for tuning in. This is Dan, and welcome to my channel, Engelgeist. For those of you that are new, welcome to the channel. For those of you that are returning, welcome back. For those of you that subscribe on my Patreon page, thank you so very much for doing so. If you feel like you would like to support me at the Patreon page, please go to patreon.com. You can choose a subscription level and support me on a monthly basis. It helps to keep this content available to those that, enjoy it, and it just helps me to know that I'm, appreciated financially. So I really appreciate those of you that take the time to subscribe there. If you want to support the channel in other ways, please feel free to contact me at my business page on Facebook for a personal reading, or you can just like, share, comment, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell either on the Facebook page or on the YouTube channel, and that way you get notified when I go live. This is the weekly forecast. We're now at Sunday the 12th. So with weekly forecasts, what we do is it's sort of the Sunday forecast always double. It's the forecast on a micro and macro level, if that makes any sense at all. So the cards that we see here today not only begin Sunday and sort of culminate in the day of Sunday, but also they are the underpinning energy of the week. So it's kind of like what we as a collective are going to be experiencing throughout the week. Now, some of us may experience all of these cards, some may not. So don't worry if there's things in here that you see that you don't like, or things that you do like and you don't experience them. That doesn't mean that it's not necessarily, you're not in line with everything. You might just be on a different track, a different path, or you might be working on something else. The other thing about my readings is I always, as I invite in the archangels, the ascended masters, those that have gone before us, it's always set up so that it's a timeless message. So if this is showing up in your feed at a time when it's not the 12th of April through the 18th, that's okay. It could still be just as vital information, and you might be in vibrational alignment to it. So watch the video and see. There might be something in here that makes sense to you or resonates with you at the time that you're actually seeing it. Alright, so let's get into what's going on here. Oh, you can also follow me at Instagram at Engelgeist333 if you'd like. I'm still learning how to post my readings over there, but we'll figure it out. I'm sorry, I've been having allergies, so if I sound a little stuffed up, that's the reason why. So let's look at the energy for the 12th through the 18th. The greater good of the higher. For the highest good of the greater collective. What are we looking at this week in the midst of everything that we've been dealing with? What do we need to know? Hey, my bulldog just came in to say hello. So let's see what we have going on for this week. Alright, so our first card represents the first few days of the week. Oh, interesting. So this is going to be the crown chakra, and I have stated that anytime a chakra card gets pulled, we'll pull a secondary card for further information. The crown chakra is always, it's the 7th chakra, it's our highest chakra, it's where we keep our knowing and our spiritual awareness. So, to me, this is definitely, this setting off the tone, this is about sort of our own spiritual awareness and discernment this week, and being staying very aware of that and connected to that, to our higher self, our higher knowledge in a way. So let's look and see. I'm going to shuffle one more time and pull another card for further clarification on this. This is about trusting sort of your knowing versus, say, your psychic insight from your third eye. This is about sort of those, I guess they would call them droplets of information that we get, where we just know it to be true, and also being able to discern that from, what we're being told by the outside world. So this is about, to me, staying clear and keeping clarity around what we know to be true for ourselves versus maybe the messages that we're getting from the rest of the world around us. Now let's see what we've got going on here. So this is Love Begins. This is the Ace of Cups. Cups being the realm of the emotions, I believe, correct? Hey, can you not snuffle at the door? Come lay down, bud. Come lay down, please. So this is the Ace of Cups. To me, this is a really beautiful card. When I look at this, it makes me think of when I look at this metaphorically, I look at the different colors of the rainbow here, and it makes me think of the chakra system, right? And then we have this beautiful cup that's pouring forth into the beginning of this river, and this river is flowing out into the world. And so when I look at this, I think about the fact that what are we pouring into ourselves at the beginning of the week? What emotions, what sort of sense of self, what awareness that is connected to our spiritual higher knowing are we sort of working on, focusing on, channeling, and kind of placing into our experience, so to speak, and then allowing that to kind of flow forward. Now, aces generally represent like inspired thought, new thinking, new beginnings, that sort of a thing. So I really feel like this is an opportunity or a reset for us to come from our higher perspective selves and emotionally really start to pour forth the best possible version of or feelings from ourselves, if that makes sense. Like really working on focusing on what we know to be true and how good that can feel, and then holding on to that feeling in the early part of the week and letting that feeling sort of spill forth and create like almost a ripple effect or create the reality that we get to experience, which is this stream that sort of flows out into the world, either via vibration, you know, by our energy, by our output, what we're posting on Facebook, what we're choosing to read, what we're choosing to watch. All of those things, we need to check in with our higher self and go, is this serving me? Is this making me feel inspired and emotionally connected? Or is it severing me from my place in the world? Excuse me, my nose is running. I'm so sorry, guys. It's just awful, these allergies. So keeping that in mind in the early part of the week, I think we're setting up for something really beautiful. I don't know how these cards are going to play out. We're going to look at them and continue to look at them for this week. But this to me looks like we could be setting up something rather profound. Like this Ace of Cups coupled with the crown chakra to me feels like taking the heart and the seventh, because the Ace of Cups would definitely represent from the heart chakra, taking the heart chakra and operating from that consciously, right? From a higher awareness of the seventh, from a knowing, from a trust. There's like a deep trust that I feel in these two cards. And in the early part of the week, if we can access that trust and utilize that trust, we can really create something quite beautiful, quite peaceful and calming. So let's see what the midweek card is. This is accelerated motion. Wow. All right, so now this is a major arcana card. I just want to see. I didn't bring my glasses. Oh God, I'm a mess this morning. Oh no, this is not. This is actually Spirit, I believe. This is surrounded by the violet border. Okay, so this is like the Eight of Wands. I'm just looking for 1 second. Eights are always about balance, wands being the element of fire and spirit. So to me, this is also about generally fast-moving energy. I'm just looking for it really quick. My nose is just running, guys. I'm so sorry. Should have taken a Benadryl, but I don't like to take Benadryl before doing readings because it makes me so tired. So it says here, this card represents speed, flight, swift movement, hope, passion, and above all, endings to delays. The conditions around you are perfect and appear to be rapidly heading in the direction of your goals and desires. Luck is on your side, and your enthusiasm is at an all-time high. Now this is, and we have to know this, guys. This is this crown chakra. I feel like this knowing is where we are going to need to kind of keep our energy at. It's focused on this chakra throughout the week. We kick off the beginning of the week with this Ace of Cups, like our good feeling emotions, and imbuing that into the world. By the midweek, we're moving forward very quickly. We're inspired. We're looking to the higher perspective. If we look at her, yes, there are mountains to be climbed, right? In this card, we see that there's struggles and that there are worries, but this bright, shining light reminds us about sort of, you know, where we're connected to in a higher realm and how quickly we can actually use our spirit to get there. We need to focus on that and trust that energy. Eights always are about bringing balance. So there is a balance that's going to be hopefully setting in. And as we balance into that, we will be able to move forward at a quicker pace and be guided in a way. And that's also this seventh chakra energy too. It's about listening to that sort of higher spiritual guidance from within. All right, and as we allow that through the midweek, we actually accelerate our movement towards the goals or whatever it is that we're wanting, desiring, trying to create. I know that we're sort of still stuck in our home, so it may not feel like we're actually moving forward, but there is going to be things at play here on a spirit level, especially with this crown chakra card working, and then this being a spirit card. We may not understand the timelines, if that makes sense, but the like I feel in my mind's eye, I see like the wheels are turning, like the cogs are clicking, things are moving forward, even if we're sitting still in our home, relaxing and self-reflecting, right? Now the last card for the week, oh, interesting, is communication. This is the 5th chakra. Now, remember when I told you that this felt like the 4th chakra and the 7th? The 5th lies in between them, right? It's definitely right next to the 4th, obviously. This is the throat chakra. This is going to give us, it's going to take us to that place of communicating and what we are communicating out. By the end of the week, this is already giving me vibes of we have to be conscious of how and what we are putting out there. This is sort of like, let me see. Sorry, I wish my nose wasn't so stuffed up. All right, so as we're knowing in the beginning part of the week, and we're feeling that knowing and utilizing that knowing from deep within ourselves to sort of feel and pour forth new inspired feelings, right? Of feeling content, feeling at peace. There's this peacefulness, and we're letting that radiate out. We start to create a midweek accelerated motion or explosion forth. We start to be aware of our light and the power of the spirit within. We start to allow that spirit to kind of guide us. Again, it requires us to fall back to this knowing or this discernment. But by midweek, we're trusting it more. It's bringing about a balance. Even though there might be struggle and strife in the world, we're feeling more at peace and more in balance with ourselves and trusting that more, which is allowing us to move forward in a way of feeling, in a way of spirit, in a way of understanding that this too shall pass, that there is creation for a future, that we can start to prepare for that. Now, this 5th chakra to me calls out and says, okay, so by the week's end, we need to actually start to take what we know and what we feel and what we're bringing through in spirit and moving forward with and start to communicate it at them, speak it out in a way, communicate it within ourselves and to those around us, what we want, how we want it, the world that we want to see, where we want to end up, what our goals are, where do we fit into the grand scheme of this? How has this changed us? How has this experience taught us something different about ourselves, right? We need to communicate that maybe to ourselves and to others through, say, Facebook posts or phone conversations, whatever we can do during this quarantine to kind of make those changes and those discernments, those realities and those bits of knowing that we're getting from our higher self real by communicating them out, giving those them a voice, right? So let's see the card that, oh wow. So we have the 3rd eye chakra. Okay, so I have to shuffle again, guys. This is going to be a heady week. So 3rd eye is right above the 5th. So this is about trusting our intuition. So we've got this end of the week. Not only are we, hold on, let me see here. Not only are we trusting our knowing in the beginning part of the week and connecting that up through the heart, right, and through our emotions and setting about with new emotions, we're moving forward in the midweek. We're communicating that move forward by the end of the week, and we're also seeing it intuitively. And so we've got all of our upper chakras at work. I just like the 4th through the 7th are all working this week, guys. And this is like a powerful week, I feel like. This is a week of transformation. This is a week of creation. This is a week of setting ourselves in alignment for what's new to come is the feeling that I get. The other thing I have to say is these white lights behind the chakras are really pulling my attention right now. I feel like this is the sort of setup period. We've used this week to sort of visualize and set up what is it that we want, how is it that we want it, start to begin to communicate it as a reality, start to begin to see it in our mind's eye. Take 5 minutes, close our eyes and envision ourselves in a better world that is better off due to the events that we have gone through, okay? Now, in conjunction with this, we have rest and rejuvenate with this 5th and 6th chakra card, right, for the end of the week. So towards the end of the week, we want to rest and rejuvenate. Look at this gentleman. He is meditating. He is out in nature. He is a 4 card, which is stability, right? Which is a beautiful balance to this fast-moving 8 card. So the midweek might feel like the energy is moving a bit quicker, a little bit more on fire, a little bit, I don't want to say out of control, because I don't get a feeling of out of control. I just get a feeling of it moving forward in a faster way, and possibility seems more available to us. By the end of the week, we want to ground some of this energy as we're up in the higher chakras still, in the 5th and the 6th. As we look at this, in this rest and rejuvenate, while we're taking care of ourselves, we want to be communicating what we want to be seeing it in our mind's eye. We want to be doing that through connection with ourselves, connection with nature, through meditation, through stabilizing these beliefs, believing that they are actually truly possible, right? And bringing them in, grounding them into the earth, into ourselves, into the new being that we are, or the new awareness that we have, the new sort of discernment that we can access from this whole experience. It has changed us, and it can and will have changed us for the better if we allow it and we get clear on where we're at. And that's what all of these cards feel like to me this week. Is about like getting really clear and connected in our upper chakras about what has transpired and where this is all going for us next. I don't believe we want to go back to who we were or how things used to be. We were asleep then. And those of us that were awake, or consider ourselves to be more awake than the others, we've just awoken a little bit more, and we want to hold on to that, like, sort of awakenedness, right? Whatever and however this has changed each and every one of us, we want to adopt those changes, bring them in and ground them, stabilize them, and also give ourselves this time to rest and rejuvenate. Things are going to be okay. Okay? Let's see here. Giggle factor is your energy for this week. It's your energy card here. So this is about being a child again. This is about reminding yourself to have fun. Again, we have her crown chakra lit up, her crown and her third eye. And as she's laughing, as she's experiencing that joy, she's exuding that joy out. Very similar to what we see here in the water in this emotional love begins card, right? As the water pours down into the river flows out. As this child giggles, those giggles or that exuberance, that enthusiasm, that joy sort of comes out in this light on this card. Do you guys see that? So this is the energy that we want to be holding on to throughout this week. There's some trippy stuff going on with all of these chakras activating. I feel like we are going to be rising up into a higher awareness this week, and if we can hold it and we can keep it stable and balanced throughout the week and allow it to guide us, we can have a very awesome, wonderful, joy-filled week. Seek out the things that bring you pleasure, seek out the things that bring you love, seek out the things that bring you laughter, and focus on this sort of giggle factor, or this energy of joy, enthusiasm, exuberance, right? Create in that and allow that to be your focus point for this week, okay? Oh, you know what? We're starting a new week, so I put all of last week's stones back in the bag. Sorry. I didn't put last week's stones back to that. So let's stir that up. Here is the stone for the week. It is relax. So again, this speaks to this end of the week, rest and rejuvenate. This is about easing into our upper chakras and trusting our higher knowledge, trusting ourselves, not being freaked out, not being in fear, being in joy, being at peace, being in exuberance, finding the things to be blessed about. I mean, this is going to sound a little bit morbid, but here's the deal, guys. If the world is ending, we can't stop it. You can't stop a fucking speeding train, so you might as well have as much fun as you can. That's the way that I see it. And I don't think that the train is speeding to a bad place at all. But those of you that might be freaked out or going like, watching me and going, how do we find joy in the midst of COVID-19? You're going to have to. You're going to have to access your higher chakras and get out of that sort of emotional, reactionary bullshit that they want us in, which is the lower three chakras. The fear, the worry, the anger, the resentment, the frustration. We have to let those go. We have to rise up. We have to start to feel more inspired, feel better. Let that love begin to flow and pour forth out of us. And then as we get to the end of the week, we have to allow ourselves to ground, to connect to ourselves, to connect to the planet, and to bring about that rest and rejuvenation. And throughout the entire week, keep this idea of just joy and let that pour forth out of you, and relax this week, guys. Okay? That is your forecast. Thank you for tuning in. I love you all, and I'll see you soon.